Yeah, Mamicha! I'm coming, and hell's coming with me!
Anyone who sets foot in here will die!
One night at the Alexandria dock, a village girl named Hind was mending a fishing net. The wind from the sea blew hard, causing the cloth in her hands to slip into the water. As she tried to retrieve it, two British soldiers approached and took advantage of the moment to assault her. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving her deeply shaken. Not far away, a young man named Ali, along with his friends Saad and Ibrahim, heard her cries for help. They rushed to the dock and found Hind lying weak on the ground. The soldiers tried to drive them away, but Ali refused to back down. A fight broke out, and during the struggle, one British soldier was killed while Ali lost his life. The situation became especially serious when it was revealed that one of the soldiers was Mark, the nephew of the British general in charge of Alexandria. Enraged, Saad and Ibrahim captured Mark and brought Hind to the Karmauz police station to report the crime. The station was under the command of General Youssef al-Masri, a firm yet fair leader who upheld Egyptian law even under British occupation. Youssef lived with his younger sisters, Fatin and Amina, always caring for them before leaving for work. This sense of responsibility shaped his character. When Hind arrived at the station, Youssef noticed her trembling. He placed his coat over her shoulders to comfort her and assured her that those responsible would face trial. While handling this case, Youssef also managed other station matters. At one point, he briefly detained a sex worker named Zalba when she came for a work permit, hoping to persuade her to leave her profession. Later that day, officers brought in Saad, Ibrahim, and Mark. Youssef ordered all three to remain in custody until the investigation was complete. Mark, however, mocked Youssef and warned that his uncle would intervene. Youssef stood his ground. Soon after, Riyadh, an Egyptian parliament member loyal to the British, arrived with a demand from General Adam, the British commander, to release Mark and the two Egyptians. Youssef refused, insisting that they must be tried under Egyptian law since the crime occurred on Egyptian soil. This refusal infuriated General Adam, who ordered British troops to surround the station. Riyadh threatened Youssef, but he held firm, declaring that Mark could only be taken through legal procedures. When Youssef learned the troops were advancing, he gathered his men, prepared their weapons, and blocked the doors. He also arranged for prisoners and civilians to be evacuated through a secret tunnel, refusing to use prisoners as human shields. In that moment, Youssef knew there was no turning back. This is no surrender. Sergeant Aziz, who knew the tunnel well, led the evacuation. Minor offenders were released, but Mark remained in custody along with Ezet El-Wash, a former officer imprisoned for disobeying British orders. Ezet was a known patriot whose skills could be useful, and another prisoner, a thief named Sfura, volunteered his help. That night, Adam delivered an ultimatum through loudspeakers, ordering Youssef to hand over Mark and the two young Egyptians before sunset. If he refused, the British would storm the station and treat everyone inside as rebels to be executed. The threat unsettled some officers, so Youssef gave them the choice to leave if they could not face the fight. No one stepped away. Salah remained despite having a young child, and Shahid stayed even though his father was ill. Their choice reflected unity and a shared determination to resist oppression. In an attempt to force Youssef's surrender, the British cut off the station's water supply. Adam also leveraged his political influence, instructing Riyadh to spread false reports on radio and in newspapers, branding Youssef as a rebel. The aim was to damage his reputation and pressure the Egyptian government into ordering his arrest. Youssef, however, kept his focus on maintaining his men's morale and ensuring Hind's safety. Adam then turned his attention to Youssef's family. After discovering that Youssef lived with his sisters, Fatin and Amina, he ordered their abduction. Youssef received a threatening phone call, but could not abandon his post. At that moment, Asfura, a quick and agile climber, volunteered to rescue them. Though hesitant at first, Youssef agreed after Asfura assured him he could evade the British by moving across rooftops. To create a distraction, Youssef asked Zalba to dance in front of a window. The British soldiers outside stopped to watch, giving Asfura the chance to slip away through the alleys and rooftops until he reached the sisters' home. He escorted Fatin and Amina to safety, leaving behind Mark's necklace as a decoy. By the time the soldiers stormed the house, it was empty. Once the sisters were safely delivered to a relative, Asfura returned to the station. Yusef was relieved, but Adam was enraged. In his fury, Adam ordered a direct artillery strike on the station. Yusef responded by taking Mark to the roof and aiming a pistol at him, warning that if the attack continued, Adam's nephew would be killed. This forced Adam to call a temporary ceasefire. The British then attempted to infiltrate the station through the secret tunnel, but Yusef and Salah had planted explosives in anticipation. The trap killed several soldiers, yet the victory came at a cost. Sergeant Aziz, who was leading the prisoner evacuation, was captured and tortured to provoke Yusef into surrender. Salah was also taken while trying to save him. The sight of his men in enemy hands weighed heavily on Yusef, but he refused to abandon justice for the sake of a few lives. During a lull in the fighting, Ezet El-Wash confided in Yusef that he had once served alongside Yusef's father and had been imprisoned for disobeying unjust orders. His belief was that protecting the people was more important than serving the occupiers. Gaining Yusef's trust, Ezet was asked to take command if anything happened to him. Ezet agreed, pledging his loyalty to the resistance. Meanwhile, British propaganda continued to accuse Yusef of leading a rebellion. Under mounting pressure, the Egyptian government issued an arrest warrant for him. General Hamza was tasked with capturing him, but he respected Yusef's integrity and hesitated to act. Riyadh, however, kept pushing for immediate action. Determined to face the matter directly, Yusef decided to meet Hamza in person, leaving Ezet in temporary command of the station. That night, Yusef and Asfura moved quietly through the narrow alleys of Alexandria to meet Hamza at his home. Yusef told him everything, from Heen's assault to his refusal to hand over Mark. Hamza understood that Yusef was not a rebel, but a man defending his people's dignity. Even so, he was bound by orders from his superiors, caught between politics and justice. Yusef urged him to delay the assault and help bring the truth to the central government. Hamza agreed to consider it, though time was running out. On the way back, they passed a street patrolled by British soldiers. Asfura slipped on a wet pipe, drawing attention. Gunfire erupted, and in the exchange, Asfura killed a soldier to save Yusef. It was his first time taking a life, and the guilt unsettled him. During their escape, he was captured, leaving Yusef to return to the station alone and without a trusted ally. The next morning, Adam erected a gallows in Carmel Square and announced Asfura's execution to intimidate the public. Yusef faced a difficult choice. Asfura had been a thief, but he had risked everything to save Yusef's family. Choosing loyalty over safety, Yusef went to the square and offered himself in Asfura's place. Before the execution, he told Adam that the law should apply equally to all. Adam ignored him and gave the order. At the last moment, Ezet shot the rope, freeing Yusef. Hamza arrived with his men, and chaos erupted. The square became a battlefield with British troops, Egyptian police on both sides, and civilians all clashing. Desperate, Adam unleashed his final weapon, a violent and unstable former soldier known as the Crazy Guy. He attacked without distinction, killing many, including Hamza. Yusef stepped forward to face him, pursuing him into the ruins of the police station. The fight was brutal, with Yusef relying on skill and strategy, while the Crazy Guy used sheer force. Glass crunched under their feet, and explosions shook the walls. Luring his opponent toward a pillar rigged with explosives, Yusef detonated it at the right moment, killing him. The victory marked a turning point in the resistance. Adam's control collapsed. Civilians captured and killed him, ending his reign of terror. Yusef kept Mark alive, determined to bring him before an Egyptian court with Ibrahim and Shahid as witnesses. On the way out, they were ambushed by British troops led by Adam's aide. Ezet stayed behind to hold them off, allowing Yusef to escape, but he was killed in the fight. When the battle ended, the Egyptian government recognized that Yusef was not a rebel. However, some feared that his defiance of British orders could damage foreign relations. At his trial, witnesses and evidence proved that he had acted to defend the people. The judge declared him not guilty. To protect him and preserve political stability, the government gave him a new identity, claiming he had been executed, and even presented Mark's cremated remains as his own. Life slowly moved forward. Hind received support and returned to her family. Zalba left sex work after witnessing the sacrifices made. Fatin and Amina began a new life with relatives. Asfura was freed and chose to work as a police informant in Yusef's honor. Under his new name, Yusef continued serving the country in another city, living quietly with the knowledge that one person's courage could ignite change, though never without sacrifice. So the moral of the story is, if you ever plan to mess with a stubborn Egyptian police chief, bring extra water, a backup plan, and maybe avoid kidnapping his sisters.